Let's jump into day two, man. Day two, let me say this. You talked about how a lot of these battles that, people may not, they're not the ones that maybe people showed up to see per se. Their energy was there. You talked about E. Farrell and Pepe. Great energy to start that one. XL and Chef Trez, great back and forth. Like that first night, I think I saw one of the battle rap group chats we're in. They go 9 out of 10. They go, if 40 doesn't choke in 2 and 3, it's probably a 10 out of 10 event. So that was high praise. Starting day two, Emerson Kennedy versus City Towers. I told y'all when we went through the predictions, City Towers was going to show up to work because of what happened on iBattle, and he did absolutely that. Second round, he takes a risk with the radio scheme, with the payoff with the punch about you don't want no static. Super dope. Emerson Kennedy, first of all, this is hilarious. I went and looked up his verse tracker to see what his resumes look like for 2024. Emerson, you got to hit up verse track and tell them to update your picture. You look like you're 13 years old in this photo, my guy. Like you look super young in this photo on verse tracker. Shout out to Double V in the building. Like, so that's number one. But number two, Emerson Kennedy has been putting in work, man. Like, and Emerson Kennedy is, to me, he's one of my favorite rappers to if he's on the card, I'm definitely going to be tuned into his battle because he had 3 super dope rounds. City was dope. They brought the energy. They brought the aggression. They turned up, and that's the way you want to start off a pay-per-view. That's the way you want to start off a day two. Your thoughts on City Towers versus EK?
Yeah, man, I was very, very impressed. I was very impressed with City. I love that, excuse me, the outside the box stuff. So singing when you're not necessarily a singer, you know what I mean, is tough to do. But like you said, he stuck with it. He got the reaction. City's another one of those guys that's from that area, so he had some of his guys with him. He cooked every round. The thing about me, and I said it, last week, is like EK's to me is one of the best writers in battle rap. He's just so good, man. Even the indirect stuff. What's going on, Chris? Even some of the indirect stuff, like the ADD angle to start, like I think his second, where he's just like, it's 11 o'clock, boom, boom, I'm supposed to be focused here. He's like, oh, I'm on Sydney Sweeney's Instagram. He's like, it's just like, that's just, to me, relates because it's the life of a battle rapper. I'm writing today for this guy, Ratchet Rico, and then all of a sudden I'm looking down and I'm on a fantasy football app, figuring this out. Then I go to this, and an hour and a half passed by, So, like, EK to me is one of the best writers. And then when EK starts, like, feeling himself, pause if necessary, like, it's so, he turns it up a notch. He slams that water bottle, he gets in, like, that zone of, like, it's always fun to see, man. I had EK winning the battle, but I definitely thought City's performance was great. And, like, I went from it like, yo, this was a little bit step up. That battle was a little bit better than yesterday's opening battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Pepe and E. Farrell. So, boom. All right, we're already on a good trajectory for what's about to happen tonight because that was a great opening battle.
Absolutely. I had EK as well, like I said. But again, man, like I promise y'all, again, KOTDTV.com. Go get this VOD. I'm telling you, it's like 16, 17 battles, and you probably have at least 14 to 15 that have really good replay value, really good back and forth. All right, Clone versus Def the Kid. So this is one, maybe not the greatest replay value in terms of a back and forth. I talked about Def the Kid. I actually picked him in my in the lead up to the event because I did it more so out of a hope that this was an opportunity. It's a KOTD debut. I feel like he's taken a couple of L's in his last couple of battles, and I wanted to hopefully see him kind of break through that glass ceiling against a respected vet and Clone. And I mean, respectfully, man, Clone showed it was levels. Death had some good punches here and there, but some things fall flat. I feel like, and again, you can speak to this as a battle rapper when you get into your punch and not that you write for reaction, but when you're rapping and there's not much reaction, there's very little reaction at all. I feel like it messes with him a little bit, and I think that affected his energy. And then when Clone gets to going, and he gets to landing his back-to-back punches, and he's getting crazy reaction. Clone 3-0, man. Clone with the gentleman's 30. Like I said, I thought Death had some nice material here and there, but it just wasn't enough, man.
Yeah, basically, Death was. He he was kind of mid. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like I don't think he took full advantage of the opportunity. I've seen better deaths. You know what I mean? And Clone is a very consistent battle rapper. He's very digestible punchlines. He gets to the punch. He projects well. He raps well. And I think kind of like what you said is just like when things are just not hitting, it takes the kind of life out of your delivery maybe for rounds 2 and 3. And so like I said, Clone is one along with EK that I just wanted, like I even tweeted, I was like, I want to make sure y'all know like these two dudes performed at a very high level. Like I felt like EK and Clone like needs to be because the Clone and Death battle, like you said, is not going to have that replay value. Like after a couple months, I'm sure it's just going to kind of be a battle that happened. But Clone was really, really good in that King of the Dot battle, and so he should be a name that the King of the Dot is definitely interested in booking on their cards in the future.
I mean, if they want to make Clone versus War happen, I know. Shout out to Wartown Battle League. I know he's, you've been there before. I know that might be something he might try to set up for himself. I see this comment here. I prefer the bullpen version of Clone, but Battle Rap moves on. I'm not sure, Sheldon, what you mean by that. I mean, like I said, I thought Clone.
I'd like him to elaborate because that's interesting. That's very interesting because I have a comment on which we can just go ahead. I won't take too long or whatever, but there are leagues that when you battle there so often, and you got the Bulls, or you got Water League, Sky League, or you got Gatekeepers, right? Like it's cool to have a home and have a group of people that are like, but it can also handicap you and thwart your growth from when you do go out to other places and you pull up and you're used to everybody knowing your slogans, or you're used to getting reaction because you're you and you're this or you're that. You know what I mean? It can thwart that tremendously. You know what I mean? And, guys that really can transcend, the cult-like following of their own, their own leagues or whatever, like Real Sick, like Elijah Straight proved to do this weekend, because Elijah, he's heavily battled on maybe not lately, since he's kind of jumped to URL and done a lot of different things, but at one time, Gates of the Garden, and you got guys on iBattle that heavily battle there. It's like, bro, like when you come out here in this King of the Dot event, and now all of a sudden you ain't got all of the group behind you and all this, and everybody don't know your stuff. Like you got to stand on your own too, So Clone and Bullpen is, I think he's a good battler, but I don't know that I've ever seen like a version of Clone on Bullpen where I'm like, he's way better than what he did in King of the Dot,
Yeah, and I mean, respectfully, I feel like Clone's one of the more consistent battle rappers out here. Like we don't, man, Sheldon, like you really got to elaborate, my guy. Like he said, thanks. I also find that Clone's style change as well. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I feel like Clone is him. Like I don't feel like he changed his style when he was on, because he was on King of the Dot's season, right? He's a part of their season.
Yeah, he was.
He's been on King of the Dot before. You go check out Clone when he battled he battled D.I. the Henny Man on the Riot, right? That was D.I., right? I'm not tripping.
Was it D.I.? You talking about when John battled E?
No. This was on the Riot. Clone,
Riot. You're talking about Riot. I'm thinking about Trenches.
No.
I was thinking who he battled in the Trenches.
Nah. I can't remember who he battled in the Trenches, but dang, maybe it wasn't D.I. the Henny Man, but he battled on the Riot because I was there that night. I just can't remember who he battled.
Av, didn't he?
Was it Av? Dang, you might be right. Hold on. But I thought that was Bullpen. Let me see something. Let me pull up this verse.
Yeah, because I'll be back, right?
Nah, that's a long time ago. I don't think that was versus Clone.
Here we go. I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up on Genius. Here we go. Boom. Where's the list at? Clone. He battled Av. He battled NXT next. He battled next. Was that the night he battled next?
Okay. Yes. I was in the building for that. I'm not crazy. Yes, but I feel like he was dope in that battle. I thought there was another battle he battled on. Now I'm gonna have to go see if I can find this. Find the flyers, but I thought he was on another battle on the Riot. But maybe I'm tripping. Anyway, I feel like Clone is pretty consistent. I feel like he's dope everywhere he goes. I feel like he puts on good performances.
He did battle D.I. the Henny Man. It might have been. Yeah, it was D.I. the Henny Man then.
Yeah,
it was 2022, and that's when I battled Nitty. So when the night I battled Nitty, he battled D.I. the Henny Man. Yeah.
I'm surprised I don't see that on his verse tracker. So I wonder if they just never dropped
Yeah,
the battle. But but yeah, man. So
I'm
like I said,
lying. That was initiation. That was URL initiation. Anyway, we're all over the place. But yeah,
all right, man. Let's get to this next battle, man, because this is one of my favorite battles
yeah.
I got a chance to watch. Forward Dev on the Riot. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you. I'm like, I know it was somebody on the Riot because I was in the building for it. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Shout out to Chris too. He just had back surgery and he drove 4 hours each day. He didn't stay. He had stuff to do, so he drove 4 hours for day one. Went home. Then drove 4 hours. Came him and Duchess. I don't know if Chris himself drove the 4 hours, but shout out to my guy, man. He holds it down, bro.
Yo, that is respect, man. Like for real,
Mm-hmm.
because you know who wouldn't have did that? Your boy. I would have been at the crib, feet up. Hey, babe, can you rub my back? Hey, can you cut the battles? Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Just give me a sandwich and a drink,
Yeah.
and I'm good for the night. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's the next battle on the card. Danny Myers versus Elijah Straight. I just want to say, man, shout out to Elijah. I don't know if he's still watching right now. To me, Elijah's been in two of my favorite battles to watch this year. Him versus Foots on OSBL. Super dope battle. This one, I don't know what the backstory was with him and Danny, but the energy was there from round one. They are in each
That's
other's.
because you didn't see her face off.
I did not watch any face-offs. So my apologies. My apologies. Life is life. And I didn't watch no face-offs. But all I know is from the opening jump, Danny Myers got in Elijah's face after like his first punch, first 4 bars.
Yeah.
What's up? Ah! And I'm like, okay, what? Turn up then. All right. Dope back and forth, man. I had Elijah with first and third. I thought Danny got the second. He called I'm sorry, Elijah, but he called you the Timu version of Nitty. I'm sorry. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. I don't necessarily tend to agree all the way with that, but that was funny. But great battle, great back and forth, man. Like I said, definitely one. When it drops on YouTube, I'm going to be watching that several times. I've already gone back and watched it twice since I watched it live. How do you call Elijah and Danny?
Yeah, actually, I think I had it Danny first, Elijah second and third. I know I gave Elijah the battle. And man, Elijah was so good, man, so good. And shout out to both of them. They both battled the night before. They literally both. Elijah had 3 rounds, I believe, the night before, and Danny had a 1-rounder on the Midwest Legacy card with Fonz the night before. Like, incredible to be able to do that. Like, just super incredible. Elijah, bro, just all 3 rounds. Danny kind of started here and kind of tailed off. Elijah, to me, was just like here every round. All 3 rounds. The one thing I love about Elijah is, a lot of us, like we navigate, we might use a gun bar here or two or whatever, but you don't really hear any gun bars from Elijah. Like, his stuff is so witty, he might get aggressive and knock you out, or he might, I'll kill you, I'll do this or whatever. But like, a lot of his stuff is like haymakers in the form of, pin the tail on a donkey. I'm a complete animal, like just like stuff that is just so crazy, and then like, the one thing that I love is like that he's growing in and he's getting so much better in. This is like the opener to his first round. Like, I'm not gonna talk about this. I'm not gonna talk about your wife. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna bring that 12K back because Rex didn't either. Like the so good. Like that's like fire writing that's like applicable, and it's like leading the crowd one way and then bring it. Like, he had the crowd on a string. Like, he really did. He had the ball on a string. And I had Elijah winning the battle. The face off. Elijah beat Danny in the face off worse than a lot of. I don't know if I've seen too many face offs that where Elijah, he smoked Danny with very few words and had Danny so mad and out of character. And it wasn't even in person face off. It was just on Spaces. And I even said afterwards, I'm like, I think he might have put the bear. Like, I don't know if you wanted to like piss off Danny like that. You know what I mean? And it was so good, man. And that's why I think you saw that energy. You're muted, by the way. That's why I think you saw that energy from Danny in that first round. where he's just like, "Yo, I'm about to walk you down,"
Okay, okay. I'm gonna see if I can find this on YouTube then. Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
would love to know if that space is still up. It's
Dope,
so
dope.
good.
All right. So let's get going because we're getting late in the night. All right. So next battle, Yoshi G versus Chirac. I don't have too much to say. I heard this battle, but I didn't hear the battle, right? So if that makes sense. Like I was moving around, I was listening, I wasn't watching. So I'm catching the bars, but I'm not locked in. From what heard, excuse me, I had Chirac with the I guess I don't know if you can say gentleman's 30 with the ladies 30, right? I had her taking every round. I felt like Yoshi tried to counterwrite the thought bar angles that Chirac came with. I just feel like Chirac had better thought bar, attacked her on her thottiness better than Yoshi G tried to defend her thottiness. Did you get a chance to check this one out?
Yeah, I watched most of it. I know I had the first 2 rounds clearly to Chirac. The third round, it was Yoshi's best round. You know what I mean? And it could have been a close or whatever. But man, there's a level of writing and delivery that I mean I wasn't too familiar with Chirac. Like I'd probably seen clips of her battles, and I might have seen a battle of hers in personality once, but I wasn't too familiar. And like, don't get it twisted. Like you're throwing these ladies up here, this crowd's pretty packed, you know what I mean? Like, and there's a lot of big, projection, like guys that are performing and doing a whole lot, Um, like you just have Elijah and Danny Myers who are and it's kind of like, we're gonna see if they sink or swim, you know what I mean? And the crowd was engaged, and Chirac's delivering material, and like I told you, like they still would have ended up in the system. Like there's like punchlines, and
Oh
I'm just like, if like this is a level of like I didn't realize that this girl punched on, you know, and
man, she said you should have
yeah, it was
swallowed them
definitely
kids. They still ended up in the system.
system. I was like, golly, that might be one of the bars of the week here, And so when she's
Oh
clicking
my
on all
goodness.
cylinders, she's really really dope.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, man. Let's jump to this next one. Real Sick versus Clips. I don't think we need to elaborate on this. Sick 30. We already told you what was gonna happen. Clips, he gave us a
Like
good
30, but clips, he strikes again. Like I know that we talk about like Real Sick, like 30 body or whatever, but this wasn't one of Real Sick's best performances that we've seen.
I won't name the person I had this conversation with, but it's a media person within the culture, and we've had this conversation offline about Charlie Clips's ability to drag you down with his performance.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do not, and I don't know if it's just because like, what can you say to so? It's almost like the rich person, right? Where do you get the person who has everything? What can you say to Charlie Clips at this point, right? People have already hammered him about his predictableness. People have hammered him about his lack of preparation, about his lack of care for the culture. Like we've run the your father's a rat angle into the ground. What can you say to Clips at this point? What are you going to say to him? And yes, Sick was dope. Shout out to Chris. He's got Sick 30. He was dope, but
Facts.
I agree. It wasn't. So I'm going to use you as an example. It wasn't the level of performance he had against you. It wasn't the level of performance. I feel like he was really dope
You can
against.
use me as an example, saying my clips battle wasn't the level of performance that you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that
I
people were
don't.
used to at that time.
Yeah. I don't get it. And like I said, we had that. It is something that needs to be studied because I do not understand how it happens. Jazz the rapper. I feel like Luke Castro, but he was a good clips that performance. And Luke Castro
Yeah.
did his best, but it was a clips 30. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Shout out to this comment. Let me see if I can get it from Kenya. Shout out to Kenya in the
Yo,
building. We appreciate that. Appreciate
appreciate
that.
that.
But yeah, man, I do not understand it at all. It's crazy. Shout out to Mama Ward. How do you have a serious battle with clips? I'm gonna tell
What
you.
I told myself like, oh well, it's the second time I battled him. So the first time I battled him is actually a really good 1 rounder, mind you. But I used a lot of like my first, 6 minutes of material that I would have first wrote for the opponent. So it's tough, Like consider he make easy look mid. He makes, like Real Sick. I mean, don't get twisted. Real Sick 3, Real Sick had a couple moments. They still listening, super fire, but it's kind of like, it wasn't like It wasn't like, oh my God, he sent clips somewhere. You know,
It wasn't like
I
Av.
don't.
Like Av did clips, or like how Nitty did. Like Av
Yeah,
sent sent clips his song, right? So I mean, that's what we're saying. Like you would think that when you get kind of this run of the mill clips performance, that the guys at the top of the game are just going to smoke him, and he somehow he escapes. He never gets body. I mean, even
yep.
one last thing, and we can move on. Even the Geechee Gotti performance, which was a decent clips, but in the third, he's like he's clearly choking. He's clearly choking, and people are still trying to give him the round. And I'm going, what are we doing? How is this?
Nostalgia's a hell of a drug, bro.
I guess, man. I guess. All right.
He's undefeated on the URL app still.
You lying.
No,
You are lying.
No.
I'm going to check that out after the show. You're lying.
Yep.
I don't believe you. Frack versus John the Don.
Frack versus John.
Battle Rap Wild Take his Clips hasn't had a great performance between Clips Tay Rock Part 1 and Clips Castro. Don't kill me, y'all. I'm not a historian like that, so I can't tell you all the battles he's had in between there. His Easy performance wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I thought he beat Easy, by the way. And I think Easy even admitted that. But
he just didn't change up very much. I mean, he didn't change up very much. He just had a little bit better materials, wrapped it the same way, and had, you know, the angles and a couple things to like really like hammer stuff home, you know?
Him versus Yoshi wasn't bad. Like, I'm trying to cycle through my head.
Yeah.
Him versus Yoshi wasn't bad. But all right, Frack versus John the Don. Let's jump into these last two battles, man, so we can get up out of here.
Yeah, you know, arguably the best battle of the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a really, really, really good battle. This was a high IQ battle. This is a strategy battle. This is angles. This is polar opposites in stature and just about everything. You know what I mean? Yes, you're definitely right. Him and Rosenberg.
Rosenberg, bro.
Yeah. You know, so that's just kind of why, you know, this battle going into it, you know, there was a little storyline behind it. You know, they're going back and forth. There's some, you know, John feeling like the underdog, trying to play the underdog role going into it, you know. And this, you know, at the end of the day, they both did exactly what they were supposed to do, you know. I'm actually with Chris, you know. I would like to watch it back. That's fact. That's fact. Yeah, I'm telling you, you know what? Remember I was talking about energy with the source. Like it's when you're turning around and people are like got you like that, like you're delivering things. So, you know, and so like Sick is like, you know, like he's right though. When you gotta carry a battle off the energy, like that's tough. But you know, yeah, John and Frack, you know, they both go in there, but both do exactly what they're supposed to do, right? The angles are there, the moments are there, the rapping is there, and I think to me, and I'd like to go back and watch it because I read Jay Smo's article where he said, you know, he had Frack winning it on first watch and he had John winning it on the second watch. You know, what I had John with the round of the battle, second round, bombing on Frack. Thought it was like the most impressive, you know, round of the battle. At that point, could have been round of the night. You know, it's going into it. But I had Frack edging at first, and then to me in the third round, the Jordan Holloway angle that he was trying to execute to me just fell a little flat. You know, I'm not saying that the angle is not true or whatever, because I mean it's been used. I watched the source take that angle from A to Z, you know, and dissect it and just really put it together. You know what I mean? And so I just didn't think that the way John executed it, it hit as hard for me. So like I gave Frack after he got into the bag in his third of the Mama Say, Mama Side, put my people in my oven, Papa John, boom, boom. As he's getting into that bag or whatever, you know, that's when I started edging Frack the third round, and it didn't hit, but I thought the last bar of his round, like, you know, John, you know, whatever, he's like, history, like your name, has a strange way of repeating itself. I thought that was just a very well written, you know, ender to the round.
Wow. Okay. So this is why battle rap is subjective, because the entire time, let me get to Chris's point. I read Schmo's review too. I had Frack 2-1 both watches. Duchess actually had Frack 3-0 on second watch. Don't let John hear this.
I just thought John Johns was. I'll say this much: just I'm a little bit of a John John hater, so take it as you may. Like it got old with all the Jew YOUJEW thing. You know what I mean? Like to me, like you pick a few or whatever, but you can't just keep saying how good you rap. Oh, would you look? It's literally the same flip on the same word over and over and over.
I'm going to say this. Would you look at that being a haymaker in battle rap in 2024 was not something I expected. I will say that just out of context, right? Go watch the battle for yourself. But you might have convinced me in this moment to actually switch my pick from John John 2-1 to Frack 2-1. I need to go back and watch it. I do think it's a debatable battle. I made a joke on Twitter of I don't know how the heck this battle is going to be able to get on Twitter with all of the thematic jokes from John John in that second round. I was like, my guy is spamming the button on it right now. I mean, even his intro I thought was incredibly risky, right? He's like, did the Holocaust really happen? I don't know. You weren't there. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, me too. Like,
I was like, oh, my boy, like you're really taking a stand here. But okay, do you, John? I thought Frack got the first. I had John taking the second and third. I definitely need a rewatch on this one. I may come to the same conclusion that you, Tex, Duchess, and everybody else have reached that it is Frack indeed 2-1. It's a debatable battle. I'm not mad at people.
Moral victory guy. I'm not like a big moral victory guy, but for Frack to do that outside of the Bay, like he doesn't have a lot of battles. You know what I mean? Outside of the Bay. You know, I think the SoCon battle was like the first, and that was kind of like a neutral ground type thing. For him to go up against John John, who is John John, like is whether you love him or hate him, he's polarizing. He's John John the Don, right? And for him to put on that performance and have what I believe is like a battle of the night debatable with John John, like I said, no moral victories, but like if you got him losing, he's not losing by very much. You know what I mean? And I think that he showed out and put on. I mean, I know he showed out. Like you can see the post game interviews from people. You can see Mook doing interviews talking how crazy Frack went. You can see other guys, interview and say, "Hey, Frack, hey, let's talk battle rap." Saying they have battle of the night. That means you're doing something right. You know what I mean? And he competed on a high level. So shout out to him and shout out to John John, man. 3 weeks removed from the Serious Jones battle? He comes in like super late notice, 3 days for Serious Jones, becomes the people's champ, rescuing this battle, puts on a performance without stumbling, battles Frack, and now he's on his way to coffee. Like that, man, he's, that's tough. That's tough. It's tough to do.
And we're about to get into this. I'll use this as a jump off segment for the last battle of the night, the main event. I know a lot of people say, man, Cody's wrapped up, Tay-Rock, so this, that, and third. John the Don, man. He's quietly putting together. And listen, King of the Dot, I don't know if y'all plan on having another event this year, but I want to put this comment on the screen. Oh, that's not the shot. That was not the comment I was looking to put on the screen. It just popped up because that was the newest one. John talking about the Jewish African American issues at the very least hilarious, but overall crazy. Listen, man, don't get King of the Dot canceled out here, John. But this was the comment I was gonna put on the screen. John versus A Ward would be a crazy battle. Organic. I don't know if y'all plan on having another event this year. I don't know if y'all plan on having a blackout this year, but if you plan on having one more event this year, maybe to close out 2024, blackout, John the Don, A Ward. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that would be a very good battle. And I feel like he exhausted some of the white boy angles too, so we have to find something else to talk about versus you. But that's neither here nor
there. I got plenty to talk about, John. I got plenty.
All right, so I'm not gonna stoke that fire any more than it's already been stoked. Let's jump into the main event: Big K versus Tay-Rock. This is one of the mega matches of the year. One of the most highly anticipated battles of the year. Years in the making. Hold on. Sorry, one last point. John lied and said he would say no to battling Ward on Twitter. I mean,
That man John battled Reggie P last year. He'll battle me. If the money's there, like, we're not going to sit here. John's still at his battle rap stage, all right? In life, that man will battle me. You just got to catch him at the right time.
All right, Big K, Tay-Rock. I a great I in a really entertaining battle. Dare I say, great battle. Little bit of aggression, an almost fight. It's everything you want in a battle rap event, right? You got the animosity, you got the aggression, you got the almost fight, you got the blue room showing up, you got Big K doing it for all the follically challenged brothers like myself, and showing the bald head, which I have to say, it's Twerk's reaction, I think, says it all. Like we were all shocked. Um, I got, it's again, this is another highly debatable battle. I got probably Rock first and third. The only thing I will say is I do wish that Rock would have wrote a little bit within the time limits. I get it. It's your debut. It's a semi grudge match. You're trying to prove this is pretty much a URL versus RBE or URL versus KOTD battle, however you want to chop it up, right? I do wish he would have written a little bit within the time limits. I do think the material that he had, even before the extra that he put in, was good. Like, I think it was enough to win him the first and third. Shout out to Shad. Said this was nearly a classic. The wrestling scheme, listen, man, that wrestling scheme in the third was fire. Slap your aunt, tell your uncle howdy. The big boss man bar. Listen, I like shout out to the Wyatt Six that he then brought after that. The big boss man bar, fire. That wrestling scheme, I really enjoyed it. This is so I'm going to ask you this point, and then I'll use this as a jumping off segment for you to get your views off on the battle. Chris says his first was over 11 minutes. At what point do you get penalized for it? And so this is why I say I wish he would have written within the time limits. And I'll let you have your say.
Yeah.
Because Rock is such a consistent writer, right? Even if some of the stuff you go, that don't make sense. I don't like that. I feel like Big K talked about that in his second. He's such a consistent writer that it's not going to be enough of a fall off to where you start to penalize him for the round. Right? But after a while, it's just like, bro, I'm not listening anymore. Like, I even put on Twitter, Rock's round ended for me in my head. When I watch it back, I'm cutting it off after the wrestling scheme. I don't want to hear what he says after that. But your thoughts?
It's not uncharacteristic for Rock to write rounds like that. So, you know what I mean? That's the biggest thing to take from it. So, main event, grudge match, right? From what I gathered, the contracts were probably 3 minutes with a 3:30 grace, right? Everybody else that I talked to's contracts were 90-second rounds with 2-minute grace, right? Mind you, my rounds are like 2:15, 2:20. You know, when I talked to the source before the battle, he said his rounds were 2 minutes. I was like, you want me to clip mine? He's like, no, you're good. You know, there's kind of understanding if it's, you're talking a matter of 4, 8 bars or whatever. Got you. So here's the thing. It's uncharacteristic of Rock to, it's not uncharacteristic for Rock to go in a rap 4 or 5 minute rounds. So when you're going into a main event that has Cody implications, right? So beyond just Massacre, huge Cody implications, right? And you're going into that match and whatever, like he's clipped up something serious. He hasn't battled, I don't think, since Jerry West. He was at one time, he was battling every other week, 2 people in a weekend. Hasn't battled since Jerry West. He's clipped up something serious. 2, that he knows it's his debut. He's Tay-Rock on King of the Dot. You know what I mean? Like, Gannick looked crazy calling time on Tay-Rock. Smack ain't never called time on Tay-Rock. Nobody else called time. It's gonna look crazy, Gannick trying to call time on Tay-Rock. He did exactly what he said. No, this is my debut, and kept rapping. So going into that, Big K has to know that. You know what I mean? Like, Big K has to know that. I'm not saying I'm saying what Big K either needs to do is he needs to incorporate that into his 3.5 minute rounds. You know what I mean? And counter right. Like, he gonna sit up here and spit 24 more. You know what I mean? Like, he gonna sit up here and rap forever. You know what I mean? To diffuse it, but like penalizing him for it in this particular situation is difficult because like that's kind of what he's known for. It's like 5 minute rounds, and it's not like K wrote 2 minute rounds. And
True.
so I think that's what the stuff is. I think when you look at actually the material, I know Rock's first was 11 minutes long. I think his second was around 11 minutes too. This is real time. This is not, when it's
Right,
material, I
right,
think
right,
he
right,
had
right, right, right.
5.5 minute rounds, and I think K had 3.5, to 4. K had the two biggest moments of the battle. Still had great material, still was punching. But when you start looking at a battle and you want to get down to who won based off of, then yeah, it's difficult. It's like, yo, you just had 24 more bars than me that round, and we're
For
talking about
sure.
like a highly debatable battle. It's like, come on now, like that's the difficult part about it.
Yeah, yeah. Some of these comments for the record, Chris says
Yeah.
I had K2 1 second and third. Sheldon was not a fan of the wrestling scheme. Mama Ward, I definitely was not bored. I'm surprised K didn't call time. I mean, Organic tried to stop him. Organic K didn't really, when they had a little misunderstanding where it kind of went back and forth. I feel like they tried, like Organic tried to stop him. Maybe K might have said something amidst the whole "Don't touch me, you're rapping too long."
Yeah.
Maybe he might have said something then. But if the league owner can't get him to stop, what do you expect the K to do?
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. So how do you call that
that's the
better?
tough part is like, Kay looking at Organic like, dang, I'm already, battling the guy that came over here for his first time, and you treating him, like he's the home guy. You know what I mean? And so it's a tough scenario for all of them. Shout out to K, man. Like I said, I was talking about with like the Source, like you look back there and Rock's got all his people, he got Geechee, he got John, he got, Mook, he got Rex, he got all that, and K is over there
Dolo.
standing on his own too. You know what I mean? And
Respect.
that stuff matters, and that's why I love that battle. Like I said, yeah, I would have liked to have been a little shorter. But I just love that battle because it had everything you want in it. It had the animosity, the almost fight, flip to the second round, the Baldy, people laughing, giving high fives. You know what I mean? It almost got a little too nice. I kind of wish it would have flipped back over to a little bit aggressive, but it got a little bit too smiley and stuff. But then the Blue Room, everything, man. So much great stuff in that battle that's rewatchable. And that's what you want your main event for the weekend to be. That's what you want it to be. And that's when you can create an event like, hey, my main event, the one I'm mostly paid for, the one most people paid for, was successful, and that's super dope. Shout out to TBL.
Yes, my bad. I forgot about Twerk and Pass. So real quick, I just want to say this. Shout out to Pass. Pass, one of the solidified vets in this game. This is Twerk 30, but this is not like he 30 a bad pass. I just want to read something real quick. I posted this in our group chat today. Let me pull this up real quick. This is from Pass's first round. I think it's really good writing, right? He goes, "This is a death sentence. There's no conviction in this prior speech. You try to reach, I'm going to fire off the belt like a lighter leash. Don't bar with me. Bogart him got my own armory. Don't nobody go harder, flow sharper. I go archery. There'll be wires hooked up to bro arteries. He'll need an organ donor and still don't want no parts of me." Fire.
Okay. Yeah.
Love it. And I typed it and posted it in the group because I wanted everyone to read it. It was really nice. Then Twerk gets up there and says, "Conjoined twins. I'm a people person." Or what did he say? You're watching a star before you pass.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you supposed to?
Battle rap it's a punchline era. And I mean, the guys got to know that, like the writers got to know that, like, if you're still rapping very well and you're rhyming words and multis and doing that kind of stuff, that's all cool. But we are in what's the punchline? You know what I mean? Like, where's the aggression? Where's the setting it up and delivering it? You know what I mean? Because it's just that's exactly what it is, and that's the era that we're in. There was a time in battle rap where that rapping and everything was super fire. And there's a coast or there's a league that still might react to that you might be highly successful on. But like a Massacre 6 in front of a Twerk, like everybody's thinking it. Like, this is such a style clash that if Twerk is 3 prepared rounds, I don't know how the best pass competes with that.
Man, I mean, this question, do you think Pass sticking the time limits might have been what led to the 30? No, because
I think Twerk stuck to the time limits. I think Twerk didn't go too much over the time limits.
I think he might hit. Yeah, his
Crowd
first might
reaction.
have been a little bit lengthy because I think Organic might have said something to him, and he kind of said like, "That's the only one. Like the rest of them, I'm
Really?
good." Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, Twerk just had. I mean, again, if you're past and you're going to be a rapidy rapper, that's fine. That's okay. That's dope. But when you have a punch, that punch better rock the room because Twerk is going to have three, four, five of them around, and it's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough. And again, salute the Pat. Like when you watch that battle, you're not going to watch that battle and go, "Man, Pass was just
Yeah.
it
No,
was no,
not at
it
all.
wasn't good." He was really good. His second, I forget what he said in the second. I mean, I like the bar he had about this is the Kamala Harris bar about we don't want to see no twerk. Like he had a bunch of really dope material, man, but twerk was just different, bro. Like the buddy pass, you can even bring your buddy pass. We just got brothers on standby. I mean the you answer call for scam likely. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's a
Pat, that's
lie.
where you messed up. Pat, I mean, Pass. That's you're like you too much of a vet to be answering questions. You can't answer the questions,
Ah
man.
ah,
You can't answer the questions.
that's a lie. We saw you give 100,000 to Bill. Like dog, like that is that at that point I got the face of that lady from Us. No, 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 no. Like no more. Please stop. Please stop. Oh my gosh, man. Twerk is a different monster, man. He's a different monster. But anyway,
We'll
that
smoke
has
him
been
too. Anyway, yeah. John
wow.
Twerk. I see y'all. I see y'all. Y'all try to take my performance of the night weekend thing, So
Hey,
I got you.
organic. Organic. Look at me. Look at me.
Twerk
Look at
said I
my
got to
eyes.
do it on URL.
URL? Okay. Chico, Beasley, Smack. I don't care where y'all do it. Whenever it happens, I'm going to be there. Whenever this battle goes down. But somebody set it up. We've waited long enough. We almost had it once before. We understand fate intervened. It didn't happen. It's time, people. We need Twerk versus A Ward. I don't care who puts it on. Riot, OSBL, iBattle. I don't care if y'all come together and form a super league and put it together. We need Twerk versus A Ward. Please stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. We need this battle. You see how serious I am? I took the glasses off and I put my face into the camera. I put my ugly mug into the camera just to let you know I'm not playing with y'all. Stop playing. Put the battle on. Put the battle together. I'm not playing with y'all. All right, man. I'm done. I'm done.
Massacre 6 was crazy. Shout out to King of the Dot. Shout out to Takeover Battle League, man. Shout out to everybody that pulled up.
For sure.
Yeah, it was dope, man. It's great to see all of those guys too. When you get to go out and there's a 2-day event, you got 30-something battle rappers, and it's good to kind of just see your peers, chop it up with them, talk about life and everything. And we had some, all of us had some good conversations and stuff. And so yeah, it was a successful weekend. I wish you could have been there. I know. But yeah, the next one, bro.
Man, yeah, shout out to everybody that was there, man. I saw Primo, Rose, Shy was in the building, Josie Gang in the building, man. I wish I could have been there. Next time. I'm going to make sure I pull up, man. Make sure I pull up. Make sure life is in a good place for me and I can do that. So, thank y'all. We appreciate y'all on YouTube, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all share the broadcast. Please remember you can check every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, searching for It's a Black and White Thing or Brains and Bars. Give us 5 stars, leave a comment. You can also check us out on YouTube at some point during the week. Just look for a day that ends in Y. You can check us out, Brains and Bars. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, share, tell a friend. It's those boys again. Check us out, Instagram. What we looking
10
at?
10-0. 10-0.
That's crazy.
He don't lose.
Respect the clips, man. Respect it. He lost this weekend, but respect the clips, man. I hope they put that on you. No, never mind. That's hate. That's hate. My bad, clips. I apologize. Pardon self. Anyway, you can check us out, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, at Brains and Bars. Until next week, it's been a black
and white
thing. Shout out to Mama Ward. Once again, shout out to everybody in the comments. Sorry, Corshell. Going out the door. If you could do a 2-on-2 with someone not in the 4 horsemen, who would it be?
T-Rex. We're going to set it up.
Rex said he wanted to do a 2-on-2 with Ward, by the way. I think that's on camera. So,
All right.
yes, I would love to see Rex and Ward in the
Anytime he slams it,
2-on-2.
I pick it up, put it back on his head. He slams it, I pick it up. All right.
All right, man. We
Y'all
holler
be
at y'all
easy.
next week, man. Y'all be easy.